Hello everyone, Mr. Nacho here, and welcome to another build video. After the latest DLC, we got a new class, or a new archetype I should say. It's called the Warden, and I've been really thinking hard about how to incorporate it into a real build. And finally, I think I have found a solution. It will be dots. Why? We'll just get to it in a minute. This is one of the variants. This will be a tankier version of the dots build that I think is, well, a little bit better, because tankiness is also something that you want whenever you are doing the boss rush, because just one misstep and you could have the entire boss rush just ruined. But if you want to go for a more DPS oriented version, then we will get to it very shortly. Alright, so we are running the Ritualist as a prime archetype, and we are obviously using miasma. As you can see, it lasts 40 seconds and it only has a cooldown of 31 seconds, so we will have 100% of uptime on bosses. When it comes to the secondary archetype, we are using Warden. It gives us 25% to all damage and 5% crit chance, so it will increase our damage for dots, it will increase the damage that we have for our mod on Nebula, it will increase the damage of our Krelax whenever we throw it, and it will also increase our range damage whenever we shoot out the spark fire. 5% crit chance is nice because it will actually help us to apply the charged wounds, but we will get to it in a second. The next perk that the Warden has is Safeguard, which is absolutely huge. It grants the drone's target 1 stack of bulwark and increases all incoming healing by 10%. Then we have the utility perk, which is contingency. When the Warden's health drops below 25%, gain a shield for almost 30% of max health, and it lasts for 10 seconds, can only happen every 30 seconds, and whenever it's active you actually get 15% bonus movement speed. So this is basically a Ring of Crisis on a very low cooldown, and this shield will give us so much regeneration and survivability that we will be almost immortal. And the last perk is Energized. It is a relic perk, so on relic use grants a shield for 30% of max health. It lasts 10 seconds, and while it is active, the actions which consume Nerudian energy have no cost. So you will basically get your drone ability for free for those 10 seconds. The drone that we are using is the shield one. It gives us 10% further DR. Basically, this drone will keep giving us shield. We don't really use shield for much else other than just survivability, but this is an absolutely insane source of it. We'll be getting tons of different shields, and thanks to it, we will have our generating band active almost all the time whenever we need it. Generating band gives us 3% of max health per second whenever we have an active shield, so we will be healing a ton. We don't really need the lifesteal tech for it, we will just passively regen a ton of HP. We have a lot of things that give us HP back, so we will get to it in a second. When it comes to our drip, first of all, I'm using the new armor, at least pieces of it. It's the Fetter or Fater sensor, then we have the Fater chassis, then we have battle slacks, and we also have Fater Crushers. So we have 3 pieces of one of the heaviest armors in the game, but we have battle slacks for our leg armor, and thanks to strong back, we are below 65 weight, which is medium roll, which is very nice. It gives us a lot of mobility and a ton of DR. As you can see, our DR is right now at 52%. Whenever we activate our drone, it jumps to 56%, so this is a great result for a medium weight build. When it comes to our relic, we are using Tranquil Heart. We don't really need the shielded heart for this setup, because whenever we use a relic, it will actually give us shield anyway. So the energized perk will actually activate our generating band anyway. Other than that, it will be active still because we just have our drone shield, and we will just keep regaining a ton of HP every second. When it comes to our weapons, we have the Sparkfire shotgun. It does fire damage on its own, so there are 2 choices that you can do here. Either go with corrosive rounds and charged wounds, or you can just swap them around. So you would have the overflow as a mod that you have to activate, and then you would have the fetid wounds as a mutator, so that you'd be able to apply 3 different status effects with 1 shot of this gun. I personally prefer the corrosive rounds and the charged wounds mutator, simply because it gives us more reload speed, and Sparkfire shotgun reloads very slowly, so this will actually be a big help. And also we have a ton of different other sources of corroded, so I don't really mind it too much. Then we have obviously the king of the dot builds, Krelax. which in and of itself plays overloaded and which deals a lot of shock damage. And then on top of it we have Tainted Blade, which applies corroded, dealing acid damage, which is very, very nice. It also deals it over 40 seconds, so if you throw an axe in a boss every 40 seconds, then you will have the dots up, and it's very, very good. And the last thing is we have Nebula. Obviously the mod does a lot of damage. It will just keep jumping between enemies and exploding them with our amulet. Also, it will keep applying corroded. It does good damage by itself. On top of it we have Harmonizer. You can freely swap Harmonizer to feedback to have more mod power generation for your Nebula, but I have to warn you, right now mod generation does not work as it should. You are getting way less mod power back than you should be getting. So once this is fixed, feedback won't really be necessary. So I just decided that I would go for Harmonizer because I'm getting the corrosive rounds much slower than I should be. So that's just the way that I prefer it. When it comes to the star of the show, we have the energized neck coil, one of the best dot amulets. What it does is it increases the status effect damage by 20%, which is already quite good. And directly applying status effect creates a 3-meter explosion for 20% of its full damage. So we will be exploding mobs all around the map all the time. It just takes to activate the nanoswarm. It will go to an enemy, explode them for 20% of the damage, which will basically just kill them on the spot. And then thanks to our Ritualist archetype and thanks to Vial, it will spread to other enemies within 22.5 meters. Whenever it comes to Ritualist, there was a recent change for miasma, which says that whenever you don't see an enemy, you cannot apply miasma to them. But Vial still works through walls, so if you can apply miasma or any other dot to an enemy and they die, they will spread it to any other enemy within 22.5 meters without having the line of sight on them. Next up we have the Burden of the Destroyer, which increases our damage by 15% and decreases range of all firearms by 35%. There are two reasons why we don't care. One is that Nebula cannot get more range and it cannot get less range. It's just 8 meters no matter what you do to it. And when it comes to the shotgun, it already has quite poor range, so losing a little bit doesn't really hurt us too much. And on top of that, we only really use the shotgun to apply the dots. We don't really do much gun damage, we just do damage by applying the dots and having them explode thanks to the ENC. Next up we have the Honey Crystal, which deals 5% additional damage for each unique status effect the target is suffering from. So whenever we have a whole Christmas tree on them and they are just glowing in different colors, it will be doing tons of bonus damage. Next up we have Timekeeper's Jewel, which increases the duration of status effects on the enemies. Right now you can see that it will last for 40 seconds. If we unequip it, then it will last for 20 seconds. So it basically doubles the duration of our dots, which is very, very helpful. If you want to go a little bit more offensive route, I would suggest going for the Summoner, because Summoner gets 30% increase to mod damage, which is great because Nebula will do a lot of damage. Skill damage we don't really care about because we don't deal skill damage, and it deals increased explosive damage, which means that ENC explosions will be even stronger. The other perks don't really give us anything, so this is just this. Meanwhile, the Warden gives us a ton of different things that we can actually benefit from. So I would highly recommend staying with Warden. But if you want to go for the Summoner one, you would just want to replace the Generating Band with one of two choices, really. One of them is the Black Spinel, which gives us 2% max health regeneration for 3 seconds whenever we apply a negative status effect to an enemy. So this is almost as good as 3%, but well, it's not that good, but it will still give us some survivability. And if you want to go all out for the damage, then just go for Shadow of Misery. It increases our status effect damage by 20%. It's pretty good. Okay, when it comes to the traits, we have Affliction, which increases our duration of dots. Then we have Barrier, which increases our shield amount by 15%. Then we have Triage, so we actually increase our healing by 50%, so it benefits both the Tranquil Heart and the Generating Band. Then we have Strong Back, so we can have more DR while still being at medium weight. Then we have Flashcaster, because activating the mods and skills can actually take quite some time, so this speeds up the process drastically. Then we have Vigor, because we want to have as much HP HP as we can, because our regeneration is based on the percentage of the health that we have. So the more health we have, the more healing we receive. So this is very beneficial for us. Then we have Spirit, because mod is quite important. We need the nanoswarm and corrosive rounds up as much as possible. Then we have Expertise, 20% cooldown reduction, which is great for the miasma. It doesn't really benefit the drone shield, but it doesn't really matter that much. Then we have a choice. You can go for Bloodstream, or you can actually go just for the regrowth. I think that both of them are a good choice. I personally prefer Bloodstream because gray HP free per second is actually quite a lot, but also the regrowth will be fine. We have a lot of bonuses, so it will be way more than 1.5 health regen a second. And the last one is Amplitude, that increases our AoE and aura size by 50%, so we will be able to spread miasma and other status effects through Vial in a much bigger radius. Okay, when it comes to the Prism, I didn't get a perfect one, because as you can see, the standalone fragments in here is health. It should have been status effect damage, but well, I can't really get what I want all the time, so I am stuck with the health one. I decided to play into it, so we go for the health and health regeneration. This actually helps us get even more healing, which is fine. Then we have Supper, which is explosive damage and damage reduction, so our ENC will do even more damage and we will be even tankier. Flash for cast and use speed, which is very nice. The cast speed of Nebula can be a little bit wonky, especially if you are playing multiplayer. You might need to activate it like 3 times in a row before it works, so this is actually a godsend. And also being able to cast miasma much faster is just very good. Then we have mod damage and mod power generation for our Nebula mostly, threshold for our health bonus, which is 10%, which is quite a lot, and then gray health conversion, which is 15% bonus. It's great as well. You might also want to consider going for some more cooldown reduction. It pairs up with health regeneration, so you might want to replace some of those with it. And when it comes to the legendary perk, the one that is best for multiplayer is insult to injury, because applying any negative effect applies exposed as well. So this will mean that you and your teammates deal 10% more damage each, which is very nice. But if you are playing alone, then the best one that you can get is Jack of all trades, which increases all of your damage by 45%, and it's actually quite a lot. This would deal way more damage than this setup that I have right now. But then again, I just wanted to show that you don't need to have a perfect Prism just to be able to use a build at the moment and be actually useful and be able to beat the boss rush. And on top of that, if you are frustrated with the Prism system, as a lot of people are, don't worry about it. There have been talks about introducing a way to reroll a legendary power. So what you want to focus on right now is getting the fusions and leveling your Prism to level 51. If you get it to level 51 and you get a bad legendary, don't worry, keep it. After some time, I've heard that they will introduce a way to reroll the legendary powers. I'm not sure what it's gonna take, so don't ask me, but this is what I've heard. So hopefully I will be able to change the insult to injury to Jack of all trades, and then I'd be much happier. When it comes to the fragments, we have the skill cooldown, health bonus, and status effect damage. So this is very balanced. We have one of each color. We have some offensive, some defensive, and some utility, which is very nice. And there isn't really much left other than just to go into the boss rush and check out the build. But before we go, let's just use the Mudtooth tonic and let's gamble with the snake coil. Let's see what we get. Obviously we didn't get nothing. Maybe we need to do it one more time. Okay, now it worked. We got mod power generation, which is bugged, but it's okay. We don't really care about it that much. We don't need it anyway. Let's go for a boss rush and show you how the build works. Okay, we are in a boss rush and let's see how it works. Let's summon our drone first. And as you can see, whenever we just use Nebula, everything dies around us. There is an elite, and I mean there isn't an elite anymore, it seems like. We can deal with the small enemies extremely efficiently. We don't really need to spend too much ammo, and as you can see we are very tanky. They didn't even remove our shield. This guy has Hexer, so it might be a little bit of a problem, but as you can see, if we apply all of our dots, then he's just going down, and there isn't really much that he can do about it. Let's just hop the fence. We don't need to pick up the upgrade, let's just keep going. Right, and we have a boss. And it's one from the previous DLC. Let's see how he is. Hello. There we go. Almost died, because this is a one-shot, no matter how much DR you have. But I didn't, so that's all that matters. We just apply the dots. We can shoot him a little bit, but we don't really do too much additional damage. This is more or less like 3000 consistent damage. And as you can see, whenever we just shoot one of the enemies, it keeps spreading. They have no chance of actually hitting us. They die well before they are even near. And I run out of stamina. I need to dodge this one. Alright, miasma again. Okay. Nebula, shot, axe. And we don't really need to do much more, he's already dead on my screen. Yep. And it's that simple, guys. Let's see, explosive damage would be great, and maximum health will be great as well. Let's just go for more damage, because why not? Alright, this will be a loathsome boss. I assume it might be like a Bloat King or something, but we'll see. There is one guy, and there are all of the other guys just dying. Let's try to snipe this guy. Alright, obviously I'm a god. Let's keep going. Hello, friend. Please die. Goodbye. And this was an elite, so, I mean, we did a ton of damage. Let's snipe this guy as well. The Krell axe is absolutely insane for this build. As you can see, we can just one-tap most enemies. We just deal with this guy very quickly, run up so we can apply Nebula, and then shoot once or twice. Oh, this guy is actually immune to acid damage, so we cannot apply Corroded. He will die a little bit slower, but still, he will die. There is no doubt about that. One more axe, a few more shots, and he's dead. And let's just keep going. Let's see what boss we get. I think it's Bloat King. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. What did you think? That I was wrong? Alright. As you can see, almost all of our HP is covered by a shield. This is thanks to the bot. Also, the shield never goes away until you get hit, obviously. So you can just have this much shield forever and have the generating band active all the time. But let's just try to get the Bloat King. Elemental resist, so he will be much tankier to our damage than any other enemy. But this should be fine. Let's actually attack this guy just for jokes. Does it spread? No, it doesn't spread. Alright, this doesn't work in this fight then. I am not sure why, but that's fine. Let's send Nebula after this guy. And 1/3 of HP gone. He will be shooting lasers at us. Oh, I mean, I fell down. Okay, now they are all taking damage. As you can see, our trip down, he almost died in the meantime. So let's just finish him off. This isn't gonna take much more. Let's try to do a crazy snipe with a Krell axe. We don't really get a chance to. Alright, that's fine. Skill damage gives us nothing. Ammo reserves, okay, because the ammo for, as you can see, for the Sparkfire is very bad. We get 42 rounds right now, 38 after a fully loaded magazine, so this is kinda nice. We are at 10 relics, so we might as well again just use one, so that we can get some free shield from our drone. Right now he doesn't consume any energy when he gives us shield. And there we go. Let's just keep going. Alright. We will get a loathsome world boss. Maybe it will be a Nightweaver, who knows, we will have to see. I hope it's Nightweaver because I really like this boss. As you can see, we are very tanky, but they are not. And an elite is coming our way. Just throw an axe. And he is dead. Yeah, just go down. That's fine. Crap. It's fine, really, no need to worry. Yeah, they're all dead before you even come here, so... We just need to find the aberration that just spawned these enemies in. Where is it? It's down here. And basically it's dead. We can just go to the door, reload our weapons in the meantime, use the relic for free shield, and let's go fight the boss. Alright, it's Phelan Phaerin, the worst boss imaginable for the dots, because after every single phase transition he actually cleanses our damage, but as you will be able to see, we will just keep applying it over and over. Also, it's fightful vicious, so he should be doing a shit ton of damage, but we aren't really scared, we have a ton of DR. And after we kill one of the balls, the other one dies as well because of Vile. He's already transitioning. We just need to wait, there isn't really much we can do. Let's reload our weapons and try to snipe him with a bomb. Can we get it? Yeah, but no. Alright, now we got it. Okay. Yeah, he's changing the phase again, so he will wipe away all of our dots. Not much we can do about that. Let's just use the relic because we are about to finish this. Why not? Free shield is free shield. An axe to the face, a good dodge. Yeah, and we got another explosion from ENC. Next time he comes down, he's just dead. We just need to find him, just follow the orbs. Yeah, and this is it. This is the boss rush, this was the fight. We were at no point even close to going down. We never activated our shield whenever we were low HP. We just breezed through the entire thing. It took like 8 minutes, and let's see the damage dealt, 266,000, very very nice. Alright, so this would be all for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Again, this is just a dots build. It's very very tanky, it's very comfy to play, it's easy to farm boss rush with this. If you just want to turn your brain off and play with your friends, apply expose to everything, buff them, and be there while they need you, while they are dying, so you can just easily pick them up because you are almost immortal, then, well, just go ahead and play this build. Next up, I will go for like a paperweight, hugs, highest possible DPS setup, and you will be able to see this as well. But for now, this is all that I have. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.